Hi, we're live. Yay.
Hey,
Let's see, make
can't
sure we're
see
good.
it.
I see us. We're good to go, Dee.
Excellent. If you can see us, that's brilliant. I'm happy. Excellent. Okay, let's get started. Okay, everyone, it's wonderful to be here today with my wonderful friend and one of the most inspiring women that I know. And she's called Louise Millman, and she lives over in the US. So she's going to talk to us a little bit about herself very soon. But today, I'm just so excited to be hosting this webinar with you with something that has changed my life, my health for the better. And I'm Dee. I live in the United Kingdom. Many of you know me as a hypnopsychotherapist who helps people like you heal yourself from chronic pain conditions, especially around about IBS conditions, gut issues, because everything, as you know, stems from the gut. And it's my mission to help people with chronic pain conditions and IBS. I'm a staunch advocate for natural therapies, and that means in all the ways. So not just, eating the right diet, but in all the ways, and I had my youngest daughter was diagnosed with dyspraxia after she was vaccine damaged, and she was 12 months old when she had that vaccine. And throughout my own chronic health journey, this has brought me into the natural healing arena, really, the natural healing world. So that is me. And I'm now going to invite Louise to introduce herself as well.
Hi, thank you, Dee. I'm so excited to be here. And yes, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Louise Millman, and I have been on a holistic healing journey now for 14 years, like ever since I became a mom, because that's what happens. And you know what? If you don't mind, just like throw a yes in the chat if you are a mom, or throw a mom in the chat. Just go ahead and comment mom if you're a mom as well, because all the moms will understand this. Like when you become a mom, you start thinking about everything so much differently, right? The things I started thinking about, like I just never realized, like what I was putting into my body, what I was putting onto my body, even my thoughts, the things that I was allowing to influence my life, like everything started to shift when I became a mom, because that is just like motherhood just like shifts you in massive, massive ways. I know all the moms completely understand what I'm talking about right now. Anyways, so I've been on the holistic healing journey, and through this holistic healing journey of mine, I was just doing all the things I should have always been doing. Like I was growing a lot of my own food because I know that food is so important, and I was exercising because I know that we need to move our body. I was doing my best to get enough sleep, just because it's like that is so important for our lives, and healing my traumas, and like just all these things I knew was really important for me, but like wasn't really focusing that much on the type of water I was drinking. I knew I needed to drink water, but I didn't really focus on the type of water that I was drinking. And it wasn't until I found this water that we're going to talk about today that I really had a resurgence in my health. Despite all the things I was doing, despite trying to do everything right in my holistic healing journey, I had chronic issues that I just could not figure out why or what to do about them. I had severe dizzy spells and vertigo so bad that sometimes I couldn't even drive myself because my whole entire world would just like spin whenever I would move. It was so scary. I had low energy, just chronic fatigue, which is not like me. Like I'm actually one of the most energetic person you'll ever meet in your life. Like sometimes people are like, "Whoa, calm down, woman! Like you're a little too crazy for me." And I'm like, I'm just so full of energy. I wasn't feeling like that for many, many years. I was just like dragging my feet, didn't even want to get out of bed some days. My kids are like, "Mommy, come play with me," and I'm like, "Not today, baby." Like that type of low energy. And then I also had blood sugar issues that I could not figure out for the life of me what was causing it. I was pricking my finger. I was writing down I had a food journal. I was doing all the things. And it was just like, what is going on with me? Like I was pretty convinced that I was like pre-diabetic at this point. And anyways, my blood sugar would drop randomly. I would all of a sudden feel like I was starving. I would have to shove my face full of food. If I didn't eat right then, I literally felt like I was going to like die. Like I would just be like shaking. Right. And then it was like this weird cycle. I would eat all this food. Then all of a sudden I would get exhausted and I'm like, oh, I need to go lay down. And then I would take a nap and I wake up. And it would happen a couple times a day sometimes. Like it was wild. When I found this water, which we're going to talk about today, everything shifted for me. I got my energy back. I felt good again. I was vibrant. I felt alive again. I no longer had these dizzy spells. Like everything just started falling into place. So you're going to hear us talk about this water today, and specifically the molecular hydrogen that's in this water and how and why that happens. But I just love to share my story because when I found this water, I realized I had this mission now to then go out and share that with the world. Because when you have such a profound healing experience, something, like it's almost like I feel like it's my duty. Like I almost feel obligated to like share this with other people because you don't know what you don't know until someone tells you. So me and Dee are here to share with you something that changed our lives, and we were just so excited to help you see how it could possibly change your life as well.
Oh, thanks, Louise. Yeah, I totally get you when you have a baby and you just want them to have the purest everything that's in their bodies, don't you? You just want to look after them. So, yeah. So, let's get started then. I want to ask people who are watching right at the moment, how many of you right now are planning your days around your health issues? How many of you have cancelled plans and missed important events or appointments? You're constantly asking, what if I have a flare up? So if you're exhausted from the pain, the bloating, the constant discomfort that nobody else seems to understand, that is something that that resembles what my life was like. So let me know in the comments with a yes if that's you, because I want you to know that I see you and I hear you, because I was you. That was my life. And today I'm sharing how I went from terrified 7-year-old with gut issues to a woman who finally found the missing piece that changed everything. So, many of you know that I talk a lot about the mind and body connection because it's a huge, huge part of what helped me to heal. So let me start off by sharing a little bit about how I got to do what I now do. I was actually very young when I started to struggle to go to the bathroom. I would sit for ages and nothing would happen. I was in pain and my mum got so concerned she would give me castor oil. Ugh, who's ever had that? It's disgusting stuff, right? But it would help me go. So she would try other laxatives as well. I remember one called syrup of figs, and I actually quite liked that one. But I was such a young child to be actually going on that journey of having to take something to make my body do what it was naturally supposed to do. And by the time I was 7, nothing much changed. And she was at a loss. She didn't know what to do. So she took me to the GP. Finally, I had to admit that I was being bullied at school. I was being excluded from friendships at school. And I was a very shy child, and I didn't want my mum going up to the school and saying anything and making the matters worse for myself. So I didn't speak up very much at all in anything, not just at school. And there were all sort of other things going on at home that no child should have to actually think about or worry about. And I couldn't speak up about these things. So I actually felt quite isolated and very alone with the things that were going on, the confusion in my brain, and my gut would feel easier from time to time when things seemed to get a little bit better and friends would start to play with me again and engage with me again and include me again, and then they'd go back to normal, and then it would all flare back up again. And I was actually holding lots and lots of things in, emotionally, psychologically, physically. My body started to respond to all of that. And then after years of diets, one diet after another, supplements, pharmaceutical drugs, you name it, I tried it, and I began to look at my stress levels. By this time, I was a young mother in one difficult relationship after another. Things changed a lot. By the time I was in my late 30s, and I decided to retrain as a gut health and chronic pain specialist. So all of that crammed into that little time, but over a time span of your life, between the ages of 7 to 38, it was huge. There was huge stress and anxiety and a level of control that I didn't feel I had, and a level of isolation that was just making matters worse. I just thought nobody else would understand and nobody else was going through what I was going through. So I wanted a permanent solution. So what was the turning point for me? I was very good at tackling my demons by this time, but I felt I needed something more physically. And the mind and body work addressed the physical, the psychological and emotional roots, the trauma, the nervous system dysregulation, the patterns that I'd been carrying around for ages. But my gut had been under physical attack for decades, absolutely decades. So unknowingly, I'd been drinking toxic tap water for my whole life, no filters. Inflammation had become chronic in my body, and my cells were beginning to oxidize, this oxidative stress that damages your cells, and cortisol was a constant companion in my life. So the years of medication, they disrupted my microbiome. Things like the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, the omeprazole to stop the acid and all of that. All of those assaulted my microbiome and completely disrupted it altogether. Not to mention, obviously, as you can see in the slide, environmental toxins as well. Everything around me and everyone, let's face it, everyone has these environmental toxins around them. So all of these had an impact. And 3 years ago, it was when I discovered molecular hydrogen. That was the turning point for me. It was the physical healing molecule that my body desperately, desperately needed. And it wasn't just about alkaline water or filtered water. It was the molecular hydrogen within the water that was the issue. A lot of people think that alkaline water is really good for you because it's a higher pH. The pH level is not really the issue. It's the molecular hydrogen that we'll be talking about today. And I will ask Louise to talk to you a little bit in a short while about that. But the thing that changed with me was because when I started drinking this, I was giving my cells the most powerful selective antioxidant known to science. And it began reducing inflammation at a cellular level within my body. And it created the optimal environment for my gut to actually heal itself. And it's been an absolute godsend. So my question to you is, are you still suffering yourself? Despite everything that you're trying, are you still suffering? And if so, the reason you're still suffering isn't because you haven't tried hard enough. And it isn't that I didn't try hard enough. It's because nobody told us about this truth. So let me go back into the gut issues for now, because I'm sure some of you watching are going to be still experiencing gut issues and stress and anxiety and frustrations and feeling out of control. Your gut isn't just about digesting your food. It's the foundation of your entire health. It houses 70% of your immune system for a start off, and it produces 90% of the serotonin, which is your feel-good hormone. And your gut is in constant communication with your brain. That's the gut-brain axis, or how I like to call it, the mind-body connection. And when your gut is damaged, every single thing suffers. Your immune system attacks your own body, so that's where you get your autoimmune conditions from. Your inflammation levels skyrocket. This is where you get your chronic pain and arthritis. Your hormones go haywire, so you have thyroid issues, adrenal fatigue, and your brain function declines. So we get anxiety, we get depression, we get brain fog, we get all of those kinds of things where we can't really think clearly, and we can start to make very odd and different decisions that we would normally make if we were thinking more clearly. And your metabolism breaks down, which means you get weight gain and quite often things like early onset diabetes and all of those kinds of things. So this is why if you have a diagnosis of IBS, it rarely travels alone. Most of you dealing with gut issues right now may also have things like chronic back pain, fibromyalgia, migraines or tension headaches. You may have anxiety disorders or depression, sleep problems, chronic fatigue, skin issues. Let me think, what else is there? Eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, hormone imbalances, joint pain, autoimmune conditions, you name it. There's so many of them. And I'm sure some of you listening can actually put in the comments other things that I've not mentioned around some of the chronic pain conditions that you might be experiencing. And these are not separate problems. They're all manifestations of the same root cause. And we have this triple assault on our gut. So your gut is being attacked from all these three dimensions every single day. So you've got your emotional and psychological. So all of that unprocessed trauma, chronic stress, nervous system, all going all over the place. All of these literally change your gut structure and the function. And your body remembers everything, even when your mind is trying to forget it. So you can try and swallow it all down like I did. As a kid, I was swallowing it all down and keeping it all to myself, but my body knew. And that's when I was getting all this stuff. And I was having to take that horrible medicine every night of the week to help me go to the loo. And then you've got your the environmental toxins. So the water you drink is full of chlorine, fluoride, chemicals, you name it. You've heard it all before. I'm sure you've heard it all before now, because it's really a hot topic that the water that we drink is not nearly as clean as we would love it to be. The food you eat is contaminated with pesticides, preservatives. You've just got to look at the back of packets in supermarket shelves, and you've a list as long as your arm of words you can't pronounce. And these are not food. These are preservatives and things that attack your gut lining and make your gut leaky, and therefore you can't absorb the nutrients in your food as well as you could. The air that you breathe, and that contains pollutants now. These toxins destroy your beneficial gut bacteria and create all of that inflammation in your body. And then obviously we've got all the modern lifestyle things. So your medications, like I said, antibiotics, really, really not good for our gut lining. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatories like naproxen for trying to stop the inflammation in your body, you know, muscle relaxant. Basically, they're muscle relaxants, and they can really badly interfere with your gut. Processed foods, lack of sleep, sedentary lifestyle. If you're like me and you sit in front of a computer all day, that doesn't help. And all of these compound the damage. So your gut never stood a chance. So I don't want you to beat yourself up and think, what am I doing? I'm doing all this stuff. It's not helping. Please don't beat yourself up about it, because your gut never stood a chance with that. So why has nothing worked? Yeah, you've tried everything, right? Elimination diets that left you eating 3 foods. And I know my kids would joke when they came to visit me that all I ate was dust, because when they came, they opened the fridge and there was hardly anything in it. So they said, oh, my mum just lives on dust. She never eats anything. Probiotics, like I say, that cost an absolute fortune, did nothing. Medications that helped for a while then stopped. Supplements that promised miracles but didn't deliver. What did they deliver? Disappointment a lot of the time. So because you were treating symptoms, not the root cause, and to truly heal, you need to address all these 3 things. So I am going to hand over now to, is it Louise now? Yeah, I'm going to hand back over to Louise, because she's going to tell you about the breakthrough discovery around this molecular hydrogen. So over to you, Louise.
Oh, thank you, Dee. And you know what I think that we're going to do is we're going to actually share with you a video, because, it's funny, like we sometimes think that, we talk sometimes about like doctors and how like, I really believe that as moms, as like, just like people in general, even if you're not a mom, it's like we really know ourselves better than anyone else, right? It's like we do not need a white coat to know what is best in our, what's working in our homes, what's really good for our bodies, like what we feel better when we do, right? But sometimes it is nice to know that there are actual doctors out there that are recommending the things that we're talking about. So what we'd love to do is just share with you one of the doctors that actually talks about molecular hydrogen through the water that you drink and how he speaks about it, and specifically to how it works with the gut. So I'm just going to bring in Robert Scott Bell for a second so you guys can hear a little bit.
Hydrogen is the first element on the periodic. It's the lightest, smallest, and can go everywhere, anywhere. But what is it functionally in the body? Of course, H2O, 2 hydrogen, and oxygen make up the water. Through an electrolytic process, you can actually reduce the water and reveal the hydrogen to the body in a bioavailable, if you will, form. And what it does is quite fantastic, because it is considered the ultimate antioxidant in that it can take apart, if you will, or let's say put back together that which is very damaging to the cell, known as hydroxyl radicals, the OH. And by having the hydrogen available to that in the cell, they can combine and convert from a dangerous substance to a harmless water that is floated out of the body. So it's a beautiful starting point to engage what we know of normal metabolic processes of excretion, of dealing with metabolic waste, things that would be inflammatory if left in the cells unchecked. And hydrogen via water can be released and made accessible to the cells deep in the body, anywhere in the body. And in that way, reduce a lot of the oxidative stress or damage or inflammatory cascades that many people are stuck in. So hydration is critical for all of us, yet we don't realize how much we rely upon hydrogen as an element, because most people are not on a clean, organic, raw food type diet. Very little bit of their diet is made up of that. The fiber that is found in raw vegetation, for instance, in a healthy gut microbiome would feed the bacteria in such a way that that bacteria interacting with that whole unprocessed raw organic food would produce copious amounts of hydrogen made available to the rest of the body and cells. So we have to heal the body and get people back to a state where they can actually do that from their food. We can't wait for that. We all need to drink water. So if we can release the hydrogen from the water, we can facilitate powerful, optimal metabolic function restoration, and then continue to work to heal the gut so that it can do what it's designed to do in interacting with real food. But the water is a key way to get there right away, immediately.
Oh, I love that. Robert Scott Bell, I've actually been to many conferences where I've listened to him speak, and he's just got so much knowledge around like gut health and how we really have to start healing the gut, because the gut is like the second brain in your body, right? And it's just so important. So if you are somebody who loves to see the science, hear the science, great. We've got all the science. We've got doctors, we've got studies, we've got all kinds of, I think Dee was talking earlier, or actually, I don't know if she mentioned it yet, but there's 450 there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of studies just showing the benefits of molecular hydrogen on gut health alone. That doesn't even include all the other ways that it impacts our body, which is numerous. But anyways, other than just hearing the science too, sometimes people like to see, what does this actually look like in real life, and what some other people's experiences are with the water. So what I would love to share with you as well is another testimony that we have just from somebody that's talking about how they started drinking this water and feeling better.
Who's that?
Jess.
Oh, hi, Jess. Yeah, go on then.
Yes. Before I began my healing journey, I dealt with chronic pain, anxiety, polycystic ovary syndrome, gallbladder, and stomach issues, and autoimmune flare-ups. Please. After I did lots of grounding and tried to clean up my life a lot after my husband had cancer, that's whenever I found out everything that we put on and in our bodies is poison. So I cleaned up our diets and also started making like body care products and like sugar scrub, body butter, body wash, things like that. I was able to get most of that under control, the chronic pain, the anxiety, and the polycystic ovary syndrome. I did end up having gallbladder surgery after that. And then after that, I dealt with stomach problems all the time. So after all of that, doing all the healthy stuff, I got pregnant with my 4-year-old that I have now. And after I had her, my body went back to the chronic fatigue, the brain fog, and this was probably the lowest energy that I had ever had in my life. And then I also had the autoimmune flare-ups after that. So one day I would go out in the garden and I would work for one day out in the garden, and I would end up having to spend 3 days on the couch trying to recover from doing just that little bit of work. So needless to say, the type of lifestyle that I was trying to live and create for my family, but I had no energy to do it. So it was like a never ending cycle of me trying to always do better and be better for the family and do better for the family. And then I just had no energy to ever do it. It was always just so tiring and draining and exhausting. But I found Cat and found this water, and I just knew that I had to have it. Everybody thought I was crazy. My husband thought I was nuts. He told me there was no way he was going to help me get this water machine. So I got a job that I could work from home. I paid off all of my debt. I went and got another credit card so that I could get my K8. And I've had it for about a year now, and the chronic fatigue is gone. The brain fog is completely gone. I have more than enough energy to keep up with my 4-year-old. I can make products and bake and keep after the family and plant in the garden one day and do the products the next day. And it's amazing. And I love it. So I've had the water for a year and I have no symptoms anymore. I also got a wart on my foot after my dad passed away in 2022, and that is completely disappeared. And my hair is starting to grow back, and my skin and nails is everything just looks great now.
I love it. She's like, and my skin and my nails look better too. It's like everything just improves, right? Whoops, where'd that go? Am I there? I'm there. There we go. Okay. So I love that. And you know what? There are so many things. Okay. Of course, this specific topic, like we're talking about gut health, right? Like this is what this is all about, is gut health. But like when you actually start to hydrate your body the proper way, like when you become hydrated, like you've never been hydrated before, because that's what happens when you start drinking this water. Like most people actually don't even know what it fully feels like to be fully hydrated, because they've never experienced it. And so many things start to happen. It's not even just gut health. There's so much more there. But of course, today we're specifically talking about gut health. So we're going to bring in another, just for you to hear from one other person, just to hear the story of how this water has changed their life. And Ashleen from Northern Ireland is going to come over here and talk to us and share with us her experience with the water and how it has improved her life. Go.
Hi, you can see me okay? Yeah. Is my camera on? Yeah.
There you go. There you are.
Oh my God. Hey. I'm really actually so excited to share my testimonial, because this water has just been incredibly life-changing for me. I had an endless list of health issues. I had IBS symptoms and chronic constipation from my teens. I had chronic back pain. I had hemorrhoids. I still kind of have them, but they are not what they were. I just suffered really badly with brain fog, anxiety, depression, that whole list. I had joint pain. I got a bioresonance scan that showed that I had rheumatism. I have been to doctors and I got nothing from them. They threw medication at me. I threw the medication in the bin. I got endless amounts of peppermint capsules that did absolutely nothing. I just got relief from nothing. And I tried every diet going, and it just felt like I could not digest anything. I had indigestion, acid reflux, the brain fog. Things just got gradually worse as I got older. And then once I had my children, it was even harder. And especially as a breastfeeding mummy too, it just got more and more difficult. And I found it really hard to keep up with motherhood. And it got even difficult to do simple tasks like making meals. To even just wake up in the morning was just like to have to push through, and just, everything was a struggle. Everything was such a struggle, and it was just survival every day. And I got endless amounts of supplements in my cupboard, probiotics, the whole lot, and just nothing just did anything for me. I got a wee bit of relief from drinking turmeric, but nothing in comparison to what this water has done for me. So when I've been drinking the water now for about 2 years, and I can't remember exactly when, but within a short amount of time, I was pooping happily. Probably within a day of drinking it, I actually noticed a difference. And then I started going really regularly, and it was like, this is amazing. I was like, I can't actually believe this is so easy. And so I also got relief from my joint pain. And I just one day realized of like, I'm not sore. Like even to just like cut up vegetables and do simple tasks used to be really, really difficult for me. And then I just realized, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm not sore. None of my joints are sore. And then I realized my concentration span was better. I didn't have the brain fog anymore. I could actually have conversations and not like drop out on people. Like it was just amazing that I could actually get up and have all this energy as well, because I used to have an energy of a slug. Honestly, I always say that I was like, I had the absolute energy of a slug. It was horrible. And then after finding this water, drinking it, and it's been so life changing, and an absolute godsend for me, an absolute blessing. And yeah, hydration, you don't know it until you drink this water. Even just one glass, you feel the difference in with hydration. So it's been completely amazing for me, so life changing in so many ways. And I used to be covered in bruises and easily bruised, all over my arms and my legs. I don't get any of that anymore. It's just been incredible. And I've also seen a dramatic change in my son. He would have struggled with meltdowns and like Tourette's and kind of like tics and things like that. But I haven't seen a meltdown from him in so long. And in terms of like those kind of tics and kind of Tourette's like behaviors, they have dramatically reduced. So it's just been amazing for me in so many ways.
I love this so much. I'm like sitting back here with like this big smile on my face. Like it is so good to know when people experience this water, how their life starts to change. And it feels really good to know, like, if you are somebody who shares water with somebody, that like you helped make an impact in someone's life. So we're going to talk about that in a second, about what it means to like become a distributor. But what I'll tell you is that I'm sitting back here with a big smile on my face, knowing that Ashleen's life has improved in many ways because she drank this water, because she said yes, because she trusted a stranger on the internet, because she looked at the science for herself and was like, wow, this is amazing. And sometimes like you don't know, like if you've never heard this information, like you don't know. And then some of you might be thinking like, I don't know, is that really going to happen for me? Like, I'm not, like, I don't know. Like sometimes we play like games in our head, like, oh, that maybe that happened for her and I'm happy for her, but is that really going to happen for me? It's like, there are so many stories, like so many of them. And if you are just open to like a new way of thinking for a second, like if you are open to like learning something new today, then like you will hear, like you'll hear the stories in a different way. So thank you, Ashleen, for sharing. I'm so excited for you. And Dee is going to come on and share a little bit about her story. Like, why are we here today? And like, why did Dee feel so passionate about bringing this webinar together to help you guys? Because she herself has an incredible testimony.
Yeah. Thanks, Louise. Yeah. Well, for me, as many people in the group know, because I started this group for health reasons, to help people get the level of health that I've got. And they know me as a mind-body coach, and I always go on around the stress that creates pain in our bodies, the anxiety that causes pain in our body, the levels of responsibility that we might have, the lifestyles that we have if we're busy, if we've got a boss that's a tyrant, or we've got deadlines to meet at work, or we're struggling to get a job, and maybe we're struggling with our own business, or all of that. All of these things all affect it with the mind-body connection. But for me, I believe that because my body had struggled for so long and was so damaged, I needed something extra to heal the gut so that I could absorb the nutrients that I needed to absorb from my food. And 3 years ago, I came along and met the very lovely Louise doing another webinar just like this one. And she talked about the water, the health, and all the things around how it is good for your health. And as a natural healer, a natural therapist, it just really resonated with me. And I went straight in. I just went all in. And at the time, I wasn't getting the right water. I had a filter on my taps, but I noticed that, you know, I'm post-menopause now, and so with the lack of hormones, your skin dries out as well. So the water wasn't hydrating me and my skin was really, really dry. So when I actually saw the webinar with Louise on, I went in, I didn't just get the machine, I actually also got the shower unit as well, because I wanted my skin to heal out from the outside, because my skin was really, really dry. And I would say from about 6 weeks in, I started to notice that I wasn't getting this acid every time I ate, and the foods that I could eat, I could start to eat a lot more things that I thought were causing the problems in the first place, but it was actually my gut was actually raw. My gut was kind of so damaged that it was causing things to come into my gut that shouldn't have been there, and the nutrients weren't actually working. So I noticed about 6 weeks in that I wasn't getting this acid all the time, and then my skin started to improve because I was actually bathing in the water as well. And since that time, I've just got better and better and better, and still managing my stress levels, because let's face it, no matter how good you are at managing your stress and managing your thought processes, life is going to throw you curveballs every now and again. And there's quite a lot of curveballs being thrown at many people at the moment in this world. As I'm sure you recognize, wherever you live, there is certain things going on that are stressing a lot of people out. And so with that said, you know, we still get stress, we still get anxiety, we still get frustrations, and yet I'm not suffering in the way that I was suffering before. My body is not suffering in the way it was before. And my hair's better again, my nails are better, just like Jess said. And all of those things have really, really improved for me. And I've never actually felt healthier. I feel healthier now at 66 years old than I did when I was in my childhood, my teens, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, all that way. So I feel like a spring chicken at the moment. So that's my testimony. I just would not be without it. I would not be without it. And when I go on holiday and I can't take the machine with me for whatever reason, maybe it's probably because I don't book the in-hold luggage and I can't get it on the plane or whatever. But if I don't take that machine with me and take that water machine, I notice a difference, even in the 2 weeks I'm on holiday, and I can't wait to get home and get my hands back on my machine and get that water into my body again. So that's me.
I love it. I love it. Oops, froze for a second. Maybe it's me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Amazing. Awesome. And I love that. So I think, and one of the things about this water system I love is like, you can actually travel with it if you can, get it to where you're going. But anyways, I love that because I hear this so many times from so many people about like, oh my gosh, if you even go like a week without your water, like you notice a difference, like really big difference. I know I work with a chiropractor in California and he was very, very healthy already. And when he first started drinking the water, he told me like, yeah, I like the water. It goes down smooth. I feel like I drink more water because it tastes better and it's just like, I know it's clean. And he's like, but I can't really tell you if I've noticed like that much of a difference. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Cause like pretty much everybody always noticed at least like more energy or like something. Right. And then he went on vacation and he left for like 10 days and he didn't bring his water. And then he was like, okay, he's like texting me. He's like, now I know what you're talking about. Like I noticed a difference for sure because I can't quench my thirst. I know that I'm like not hydrated when I'm not drinking this water. And so like it is such a big difference. Anyways, we're going to talk. So what is the water? We keep telling you about this water. Like, what is it? And like, we told you it's molecular hydrogen, right? But it is a technology that has been around for 51 years in Japan, where it was founded in 1974 in Okinawa, which is one of the blue zones. And Dee is going to tell you about that in just a second. But just say, I went over to Japan last year and Dee went too. We both went to Japan because we're like, we want to go back to the origin of where this all started, right? And we got to actually connect with the Japanese culture. We got to go to a centenarian community where they lived to be 100 years old, where like literally an 87-year-old lady jumped on her bicycle to ride home, not on a flat road, but on a rocky road, and it was raining, and she's like 87. She hops on her bike and starts like riding off, and I'm like, this is Japan for you, right? And our company is a Japanese company. They've been drinking this water for 51 years. It finally started making its way over into the other parts of the world about 25 years ago. But it was a medical device originally approved by the Japan Ministry of Health in hospitals. It was originally approved for hospital use for those with gastrointestinal issues. When we sit here and talk about gut health, like that's literally the reason that it was approved, was for those who have gastrointestinal issues. And they started seeing so much improvement when they started drinking the water. And so, of course, they were like, yes, like we need to approve this as a medical device. We need to make sure that everyone's drinking this water. And then it started making its way, like I said, into other parts of the country or in other parts of the world. I'm sorry. And now it's not just in hospitals. It's now in people's everyday homes. Like they've made it accessible where every single person can get access to this at your own kitchen sink. That means someone like Dee, someone like myself, someone like Ashleen, someone like Jessica, who you already heard from. We all have one of these at our own kitchen sink. And someone like you can also have this in your own kitchen sink, where you can literally turn your little knob and your water that's coming out of your faucet, which we know is actually pretty toxic when it's not filtered and clean, gets to go through a process where it's filtered and clean first. And then it runs through a process called electrolysis, which then takes that clean filtered water, transcends it into water that now has properties that most people don't even know exist about water. Properties that are so good for your body that it's not going to heal your body for you, but it's going to provide your body what your body needed to do that itself. It's going to give you something called molecular hydrogen, which is a very strong, very effective, and selective antioxidant that's going to fight free radicals, reduce oxidative stress, reduce inflammation, allow your cells to function better. You know what it comes down to is cellular health. Everything comes back down to cellular health. When you have cells that are healthy, those cells are always replicating, right? We don't want unhealthy cells to replicate. That's how we end up with disease in the body. When you have healthy cells that are replicating, guess what happens? You feel good, you feel vibrant, you have your energy back, you're lit up, you're glowing. Like, people are like, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm not doing anything, I'm just drinking different water. And it's like, wow, like that's what we get access to with this water system, with this technology that Japan created 51 years ago and blessed the rest of the world with now. So we actually get to have access to this. And what it is, there's 10,000 health professionals worldwide that endorse this water system. Not only is it giving you healthy, hydrogen-rich water that you can drink, but it's also allowing you to create so many different products, like replace a lot of your products at home, because there's different pHs that you can select. Some of the pHs are not meant for drinking. Some are meant for cooking. Some are meant for cleaning. Some are meant for your skin. Some are meant for your hair. Some are meant to like take off stains in your laundry. Like, you can literally replace your laundry detergent with this water system. Like, it's really, really cool what we have access to. Specifically today, we're focusing on gut health, but like, I mean, we could talk a whole another hour about all the uses. Like, we could literally be here for hours and hours and hours and still be sharing with you the benefits of this water system. But we're going to just focus on the health. So that's in the gut specifically today. But how it works is there's 8 platinum coated titanium plates that are inside the water system. And as the water runs over these plates, electrons then become donated at the cathode, which is the negatively charged plate. So it does hold an electric charge. It does have to be plugged into a wall. And at the cathode, these negative, the electrons are being donated to the water molecule, and that's how the molecular hydrogen is being created inside the system. I'm not going to go super sciencey, right now. If you want to know more about the science and how it actually works, then just reach back out to Dee. She'll send you the video. There's a whole like 3 or 4 minute video that just breaks down exactly how electrolysis works. But the process is called electrolysis, and the water, the medical term for this water, is called electrolyzed reduced water. And these systems are built to last 15 to 20 years. And we know they last that long because we literally have been around long enough to tell you that we know people who have had their machines for 15 or 20 years. In fact, I meet people all the time when I go travel around and do big events where I'm like sharing Kangen water with people. I was just at an event last weekend. Chiropractor walks up. He's like, yeah, I've had this water before. I've had one for 20 years. I'm like, really? Does it still work? He's like, works great. Replaced one part, 2 years ago. Still works great. And I'm like, okay. Another guy I met at the Autism Health Summit I was speaking at, because also molecular hydrogen crosses the blood-brain barrier. There's lots of benefits for the nervous system. Anyways, we were at the Autism Health Summit talking about molecular hydrogen and the benefits it has. And a guy walks up. He's had his machine for 43 years. He bought his machine in actually his family did it. His parents, he's not even 43. He's like in his 30s. And he's like, yeah, I've been drinking this since I was a baby because my mom literally bought this 43 years ago in Asia, brought it with me to the States, and I now have it in my own kitchen. Like, they are built to last. And that is also just the Japanese culture in general. They're not looking to create the cheapest product on the market. They're looking to create the highest quality one. And that's what they've done with the Enagic. That's what they've done with Kangen water. And that's what you get access to if you decide to go, pursue getting the healthiest water in the world into your own home. So one thing that we want to touch on real quick is Dr. Shinya. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but since we are talking about gut health, we definitely have to talk about Dr. Shinya because he has so much clinical proof that this water works. Now, Dr. Hiromi Shinya is a world-renowned gastroenterologist, and he's also the pioneer of the colonoscopy. He invented or co-invented the colonoscopy, which is really cool. And he's seen over 350,000 colons over the 45 years of his career. So this really gives him like a unique window into how diet, lifestyle, hydration, all that stuff, he sees how that affects your gut health long-term, right? And because he works with his patients, he actually authored a book called The Enzyme Factor, which is really cool. And I think it's like probably one of the most influential health books of our time. And in that book, he actually was quoted saying that the healthiest people in the world drink clean, energized, so we just talked about, energized water, eat whole enzyme-rich foods, and maintain a balanced lifestyle. And that's what he said. Now, also in that book, he recommends Kangen water. He actually explains that good water, which he refers to as Kangen water, is one of his top recommendations. And so what I was saying earlier was that he's actually studied the effects of Kangen water. So he's seen 350,000 plus colons, right? But he's also seen like the befores, and then he's put them on Kangen water because he knows it's the best clean, energized water you can drink. And then he goes and looks at their afters. And he was so impressed with Kangen water that he started recommending it as a part of his daily health protocol to all of his patients. So his patients were being put on Kangen water. And, we're not going to make any claims here, But oftentimes his patients, if they found polyps, if they found cancer, if they found disease in the body, and then they started drinking this water, and then after they were like, wow, like this is all getting better, and then like reoccurrence wasn't happening, like he started putting it all together that like this water is incredible for you, right? Look, I'm not going to make any health claims here, but I will tell you that what he saw, he was so impressed with that he personally drank the water himself every single day and prescribed it to his patients to help support their digestive health, detoxification, and their enzyme function, which is really ultimately what it was all about. So the results are improved colon appearance, obviously with the images, reduced inflammation in the body, and all of that leads to enhanced healing, which is what he's all about and what we're all about here too, and why we're wanting to share this water with you. So I know Dee wants to talk about the blue zones, and I'm gonna let her, talk about that because this part is really cool as well.
Am I on?
You are.
Great, thank you. Okay, yes, so the blue zones, like Louise said, we met up last year in Okinawa in Japan. It was the 50th anniversary of the company, and we went to celebrate with them, and we went around all over the place. And there are only a limited amount of places where this water is accessible. So if you don't live in these places, it's really difficult to get the water, because you'd have to go there or live close by, and you can't just nip down along to Italy or Greece or California or whatever to get yourself a glass of water, can you really? So one of the reasons why Enagic decided to put this water into this machine so people could have it in their homes was to replicate the water that is in the blue zones. And these are places on Earth where people live into their hundreds and over 100 as well. We did meet, not only did we meet the 87-year-old that rode off on a bike up a hill in Japan, we actually met a lady who was something like, she was 110, I think it was, wasn't it, Louise? I'm sure she was 110. And she was dancing and doing her, is it Tai Chi and all of that. And honestly, she could have been in her 70s rather than 110. She was amazing woman. I'll never forget her. And these people who live in these areas, like Okinawa in Japan, as you can see, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and then Loma Linda in California. But there's also loads in France, Nordenau in Germany. So there's a couple of extra places. And I think if you're a Christian, then you'll probably have heard of how many do pilgrimages to Lourdes in France to actually drink the water and to bathe in the water to heal themselves. So it's got a reputation for that. And for decades, scientists studied these blue zones and put the longevity of the people who live in these areas down to not only the diet and exercise and the social connection, but also to the water. It was the water, and that's the water connection that we're talking about. And they've looked at geological analysis, and it shows that the blue zone populations have been drinking naturally therapeutic water for generations. And the water hardness in the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, shows that there's a direct correlation between the exceptionally hard mineral-rich water and longevity over in Costa Rica. Their water is naturally alkaline and provides optimum calcium and magnesium in the water that they drink. And again, in Greece, in Icaria in Greece, the island has some of the world's most radioactive thermal springs, perfect conditions for natural hydrogen, and obviously bathing in the waters for skin health and all of that kind of thing. And then obviously, we've just talked about Okinawa. It's just a fantastic place. It is both a blue zone and the birthplace, as Louise said, of Kangen technology. And I just thank the inventor of this machine and how they put it together and how they make it last so long and how it's a one-time investment in your health. And I'm just so grateful for that. So like I say, you don't need to move to a blue zone. The beautiful truth is that you can bring the Blue Zone into your kitchen with Kangen technology. So you get the same alkalized water, you get the mineral balance, the molecular hydrogen, the purity that removes all of the harmful toxins, and the structure that maximizes cellular absorption in your body. So it's a real solution for real people like yourself. So if you want relief from rheumatoid arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome, diabetes, Crohn's disease, diverticular disease, Lyme's, what else, fibromyalgia, then it's well worth looking at what they've replicated in this machine from the Blue Zones. So I want to hand back now to Louise to actually go into how on earth can you get this machine into your home, and how can you get the benefits to your health, to your long-term health, with having one of these machines in your house. So, Louise.
Love it. Amazing. Awesome. Okay. So basically what it is, I mean, if you really start to look at things like for what you're spending now in your everyday life, right? So like, obviously this number is going to look a little bit different for every person, because I don't know you. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing for water currently. I don't know what your health looks like, right? But if you think of the current annual cost for most people, it's going to be 10,000, 25,000 pounds for medical bills, medications, supplements, bottled water, and also lost income for those who are not feeling great all the time and have to, I know for sure, like when I was going through all of my dizzy spells and vertigo, and like it impacted my everyday life. Like there were some times where I couldn't even get into a car and drive the car. So if I had to go to work, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't get there unless I was calling an Uber or something like that, right? So you can look at 10,000, 25,000 pounds just for like everyday cost of like bottled water. Oh my gosh, bottled water. Like if we had a chart here showing you what people actually pay for bottled water, and sometimes it's like bottled water, I think like a lot of people may think that that's actually the better option because they think it's cleaner, it's safer. And it's like, I mean, maybe in some situations, but like most of the time it's probably not. Oftentimes it's just filtered tap water. And then you got to think about all the microplastics or the nanoplastics or the chemicals that leach out of those plastic bottles. And we're trying to like drink water because we know we need to drink water for our health, but then we're like putting the things back into our body that we know are not good for us. Like bottled water is just kind of like, and not to mention it's something that you're going to spend money on for the rest of your life. If you buy bottled water, you're going to have to keep buying bottled water like literally forever, because it's almost like renting your water versus owning it. Like when you own this water system, like you don't ever have to buy water again, ever. It's amazing. So you can either pay 10,000, 25,000 pounds on all these things on a yearly basis, or you can look at investing into a Kangen water system, which is going to be anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 one time. That's going to last you for 15 to 20 years. And when you break it all down, you're looking at less than £1 a day. And then you can give this water to anybody in your family. Like I have a family of 5, right? So it's like me, it's my husband. I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, and then I have an almost 2-year-old. So for the next 20 years, at least, I know that me and my family are going to be drinking off this one water system that we invested in 5 years ago. So I can take that 73 pence per day and even break it down even more and actually make it less, because my entire family gets to benefit from it. So if I'm drinking bottled water, having to buy bottled water for every single person in my family, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like, I'm just not going to like how much money I'm going to be spending. It's like absolutely insane when you think about it. We also have payment plans that are available. So if you were somebody who would like to get this into their home, all you have to do is reach back out to Dee, because the way that Enagic operates is through the Direct Sales Association. So there is a business opportunity that's optional. If you are somebody who actually loves to share health, if you're somebody who loves to, when you have a good experience with the water, like, I don't know about, I'm sure Dee probably feels the same way. When I started having my experience with the water, I actually felt like this obligation to share with other people. Maybe not everybody feels that, but I was like, wow, like I really need to tell people about this water. I felt like convicted, like I need to speak about this water. And I started sharing this water with other people. And when you purchase a water system, you automatically, for free, no extra charge or anything, you get this optional business that comes along with it. So if you are somebody who likes to talk about the water, you like to talk about health, you like to talk about the things that impact your life, because everybody will be impacted by this water. Anyone who invests in this water will have some sort of impact in their health. And you can actually start to earn 3-4 commissions per referral. And it only takes 9 sales to actually earn your own Kangen water system for free. So you can get this water, you can start drinking the water, you can start sharing the water with others. And then you get to either, like, whether you want to share casually with friends and family, or maybe you don't want to share at all. You just want to get better. You just want to feel better. You want your gut to be healed. Cool. You don't have to do the business. It's totally optional. But I'm just throwing it out there because a lot of times, some people actually like that opportunity. It's there. There's legacy income potential. You don't have to do the business to benefit from the water, but you can share with other people. I always like to say sharing is caring. So when I started drinking the water, I actually had a really positive experience with the water that, like I said, I felt convicted. I felt like I needed to share. I felt like I really strongly about it. So I started sharing with everybody and anyone who wanted to listen. Next thing you know, 1,000 people later, like, so many people are drinking this water now because I decided to speak up. I decided to say, hey, have you tried this before? Have you heard about this before? And that makes me feel so good and so fulfilled. So beyond the fact that, like, I created a business and all this other stuff, it's like, yeah, that's amazing and all. But really, at the end of the day, it is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my entire life. Like, it feels so good to know that other people's lives have improved because of the fact that I decided to share something with them like this. And you can do that too if you want to. Again, completely optional. Maybe you don't want to, and that's okay as well. But if you decide that you want to try this water, the next step is going to be, you have two paths. And Dee is going to lead you down those paths because she's the one you're going to reach back out to anyways if you're interested. But you have two paths and you get to decide what you're going to do.
Thanks, Louise. Thank you. Yes, so this is it. We're at the end of the webinar now, and I hope you've heard something that's piqued your interest, that's made you think, could this be the solution for me that it was for Dee and for Ashleen and for Jess and for thousands of other people? So here's what happens next. If you're ready to stop all of that suffering and start healing your body, then you can book a consultation with me. We'll discuss your specific health challenges, answer all your questions, and create a personalized plan for moving forward. And you can book that consultation with me through my calendar link, and I'm going to put that into the comments in a couple of moments. You can find out if there's anybody in your area who actually offers the water as a water share, so that you can actually try it beforehand. So we can maybe help you with that. If you tell us where you are, if we've got somebody in that area, we'll be able to help you to do that. And you can then choose your machine if you're really ready and willing and eager to go and get this machine into your hands. We can show you how it's possible to actually get one. There are payment plans and all that kind of thing available to you, so you could get started immediately. As soon as your machine arrives, you can get that. And I'm also going to offer a free water ebook, and you can get that by filling out the form. Just put in your email and your name. If you fill that form out and you want the ebook, then please put in your name and then Gutsy beside it, so that we know where you've got the form from, because that form goes out all over the place to different places, and we like to see where the people are coming in from. So yeah, if you want the water, then please put your name in and then put Gutsy beside it, and then I'll know that you're coming from there. And so I'm just going to put those links into the chat now, and hopefully you can see those. And I think that's where we're at. So you can, like you say, do nothing, take action, book that free consultation, try the water, choose the machine, and join the community, because not only have we got a fantastic community with the Gutsy Women, everyone's so wonderful, and there's people in here who are wanting to help others heal, and there are people who are needing to heal. So there's plenty of options for everybody to actually help to heal their gut and get rid of chronic pain for good. And so I just want to leave it there. I wonder, Louise, have you got anything else to say before we close down?
I don't. I mean, really, I think you pretty much covered everything, but I will say that, like, nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you were somebody who is struggling with any sort of health concern, there has to be changes that have to happen, right? And so this is such a simple, small change that can make such a huge difference in your life. And so I just really encourage everyone, like I said earlier, if you've never heard this information before, if you've never heard this water before, if your mind is kind of like blown, you're like, wait, what? Like, how? It's water. Like, just be open to the information, get the ebook, have a consultation with Dee. She will explain further the science of how this works. It's helping literally thousands, hundreds of thousands, actually 3 million at this point now, 3 million people that have invested in their health by getting the best water ever at their own kitchen sink. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything, is just stay open to this idea, because I know when I first heard about this water, I thought, it's just water. Like, how could water really do any of that? Like, I don't know about this. Like, I was kind of skeptical. And then I had the water. And then once you have the water, you then understand. And you're like, oh, like, you don't really understand, and you can't really understand until you've actually had the water yourself. So get with Dee. Try the water, find out if someone's close to you. She'll help you. She has a whole community she can tap into of people that are all over the world that have this water that can maybe possibly help you. Try it yourself if that's what you want to do first. But the water speaks for itself. You just got to get it in your body. You got to see it. You got to experience it. And then once you do, you're going to be like, oh, and then you're going to be the next person on our webinar giving us a testimonial. We're going to love it.
I love that. I love the sound of that. And I would love that to happen for many women in Gutsy Women Today Facebook group. I would just love to see so many women heal. So I just wanted to say thanks once again, everybody, for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks to Ashleen for coming on and doing her testimony. And I want to thank all of you for being brave enough to hope that things can be different for you. Thank you for considering investing in yourself and your health. I see you, I hear you, I understand your pain, because I've lived it too. And you're not alone. There's a community, like Louise said, of all of us who understand exactly what this water can do. And a lot of them have got their own testimonials as well. So we've walked this path. We've found healing, and we want to help others find it as well. So I'm going to end there, and we hope to hear from you, see you again, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday wherever you are in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee.